Okay, so students, in our today's lesson, we are going to look at finding square roots and cube roots of rational numbers. It's good that we know what square roots are and we know what cube roots are. So for now, we are going to look at how we can find the square roots and cube roots of rational numbers. And we are going to be looking at different methods, but for this lesson, we are going to use factorization. Okay, so let's use factorization. Okay, so let's look at example number one. We see how we can factorize and get the square roots of whole numbers. Okay, now let's have example number one. Let's say we need to find the square root of 324. And let's say that we are going to use factorization. Okay, find the square root of 324 by factorization method. Okay, so let us right away get the solution. So we are going to factorize 324. So let's say 324 let's divide it by 2. This will give us 162. And let's divide 162 by 2. We get 81. So we cannot divide 81 by 2, but we can divide it by 3. So we divide it by 3, we get 27. And we divide 27 by 3 to get 9. And we divide 9 by 3 to get 3, and 3 by 3 to come up with 1. Okay, so you can see that 324 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 2 times, and then we have 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 3 4 times. So times 3, times 3, times 3, times 3. Okay? 2 times 2, this one and this one. 3 times 3, this one and this one. Then 3 times 3, this one and this one. Okay? So now, since we are finding the square root, okay, you need to remember that to get the square root, you are looking for the number that can be multiplied by itself to get the square number. So if we are finding the square root of 324, we are looking for a number that we can multiply by itself to get 324. So that's why we are going to put these numbers in 2 equal groups. So we can say that group 1, let's have these 2, this 3, and this 3. So we say that we have 2 times 3 times 3. That is the first group. And the other group is these 2, this one, this 3, and this 3. So we have 2 times 3 times 3. So altogether, you see that you're having 2 times 3 times 3 squared. In other words, you are having it 2 times. Okay. Or to make it this so clear, we can say that actually we are having 2 times 3, that is 6, and 6 times 3, that is 18. So we are having 18 squared. So this means that 324 is equal to 18 squared. In other words, when we multiply 18 by 18, we will get 324. So this means that, therefore, the square root of 324 is the positive square root, which is 18, and the negative square root, which is negative 18. So if we get 18 times 18, or 18 squared, we get 324. And when we get negative 18 times negative 18, still we will get 324. I hope that is understood. So let's get another example. We get familiar with finding the square roots by factorization. Okay, so like we have done already, we are going to factorize 784. So let's have 784. Let us divide it by 2, and this will give us 392. So we divide it by 2 again, we get 196. We divide it by 2, we get 98. We divide it by 2, we get 49. So we cannot divide 49 by 2, and we cannot also divide it by 3. So we will divide it by 7. Okay, so when we divide it by 7, we get 7. And when we divide 7 by 7, we will get 1. Okay, so it means that 784 is equal to 2 4 times, that is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then 7 2 times. Okay, since we need the square root, we will get 2 equal groups. So with the first group, let's have these 2, and these 2. So that will be 2 times 2 times 7. Okay, and in another group, let's have these 2, and this 7. 2 times 2 times 7. Okay, so you see that 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 7 is 28. So we are having 28 times, even this is 28. So we are getting 28 squared. So this means that to get 784, we need to get 28 times 28. So therefore, the positive square root of 784 are the positive square root, which is 28, and the negative square root, which is negative 28. So I hope that is understood. But sometimes we cannot be able to get, able to get two equal groups. So how can we then find the square root? We'll look at that in example number 3. Okay. So as usual, we get our solution by factorizing 48. Okay, so we get 48. Let's start by dividing by 2, since it is the smallest prime number and it is divisible by 48. So by 2, we get 24, and by 2, we will get 12. By 2, we will get 6. By 2, we will get 3, and by 3, we come up with 1. Okay, so it means that 48 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Those are 4 times, then times 3. So now, remember, we need to make two equal groups. If we make this 2, 2, and these 2, there is no way how we can make these two groups equal, because let's say that we have these 2 and 2, then this side you have 2, 2, and 3. If you have 2, 2, 2, then you have 2 and 3. So it's not easy to make two equal groups because actually of these 3. So instead, what we are going to do, we are going to group these 2, because now we can be able to get these as 2 groups, but then 3 is excluded. So what we do, we say that this is the same as 4 times 4 times 3. But then 4 times 4 means 4 squared times 3. So it means that to get 48, you square 4 and you multiply it by 3. That's what it means. Okay, you get 4 times 4 times 3 in order to get 48. So then, the good thing is that this one we can get its square root, and the square root of 3 is the square root of 3. So this means that here we remain with the square root of 4 squared, which is 4. And then it means that we are getting 4 square root of 3. So therefore, the positive square root of 48 will be 4 square root of 3, and the negative square root of 48 will be negative 4 square root of 3. So in other words, the square roots of 48 are 4 square root of 3 and negative 4 square root of 3. So those are square roots of 48. And remember, we are using factorization. I hope that is okay. Now let's see how we can use factorization to find the cube root. Let's call this example number 4. So right away, let's get the solution. Since we need to find the cube root using factorization, let us then factorize 216. So we divide by 2, we get 108. We divide by 2, we get 54. We divide by 2 to get 27. We divide by 3 to get 9. And then 9 divided by 3, we get 3. And 3 divided by 3, we get 1. And when we reach at 1, it means that we have finished to factorize this number. So this means that 216 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2, then 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, now since we need to get the cube root, then we will make 3 equal groups. Remember, for square root, you get 2 equal groups, but for cube root, you have to get 3 equal groups. So this means that we can have these 2 and these 3. Then we can have these 2 and these 3. And then we can have these 2 and these 3. So this means that we are going to have 2 times 3. Let me use this color to make it more visible. Let's say 2 times 3. Then we will have times another group, which is 2 times 3. Then times the last group, which is these 2 times these 3. Okay, so now you can see that we have 3 equal groups, because 2 times 3 is 6. Even 2 times 3 is 6. Even this one is 6. So we are having 6 times 6 times 6, which is the same as 6 cubed, all 6 to the power of 3. Now, if you are told to find the cube root of a number, it means that you are being asked to find a number that can be multiplied by itself 3 times to get that number. For this example, we have 216. So if we say, find the cube root of 216, it means that look for the number that you can multiply by itself 3 times to get 216. And you can see that that number is 6. If I get 6 times 6 times 6 3 times, I will get 216. So it means that, therefore, the cube root of 216 is equal to 6. Alternatively, you can write it like this, that the cube root of 216 is 6. It means that if I get 6 times 6 times 6 3 times, I'll be getting 216. So I hope that is also very clear. Let's get another example to clearly understand this very well, just in case you did not understand this example. Okay. Let's call this example number 5. Let's say we need to find the square root of 700, sorry, the cube root of 729. Find the cube root of 729. And we are going to use factorization by factorization. Okay, so let's get the solution. Remember, in our step number 1 is to factorize 729. Okay, let's factorize 729. Okay, we cannot divide this by 2, but we can divide it by 3. So if we divide this by 3, we will get 243. 243. So if we divide 243 by 3, we will get 81. And then we divide 81 by 3, we will get 27. And 27 by 3, we get 9. Okay, then 9 by 3, we get 3. And 3 by 3, we get 1. Okay, so we are having 3 how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it means that 729 is equal to 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, times 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we need to make 3 equal groups. So since these are all 3, so we have this group, we have this group, and we have this group. And you can say that this means 9 times 9 times 9, which is the same as 9 cubed, or 9 to the power of 3. So this actually means that to get 729, we need to get 9 times 9 times 9. So then, if we say find the cube root of 729, it means look for a number that you can multiply by itself 3 times and you get 729. So that number is 9. So we say, therefore, the cube root of 729 is 9. Okay, so that is very well understood. Now I'll give you an example whereby it may not be easy for you to make 3 equal groups. In other words, it is not a perfect cube. How will you be able to get its cube root? By factorization. Okay, let's call this example number 6. So since we need to use factorization, we have nothing to do but to factorize this number. So we get 320. We can divide this by 2, and this will give us 160. We divide this by 2, we come up with 80. And when we divide this by 2, we get 40. Okay, 40 by 2, we get 20. 20 by 2, we get 10. 10 by 2, we get 5. Okay, and 5 by 5, we get 1. Remember, when we reach at 1, it means that we have finished to factorize our number. So it means that 320 is equal to how many 2's? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, so we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, then times 5. Okay, now if we need to make 3 equal groups, including this 5, it is not easy. You see, if we get, let's say we get this, we get this, we get this, then this group will not be equal to the rest. So then we cannot do something like that. So what do we do then? You can see it is easier to make 3 equal groups of 2's. Okay, so we go ahead and make these equal groups of 2's, and we leave 5 alone, first of all. So we can say that now we have got 4 times 4 times 4 times 5. Okay, now this means that actually we have 4 cubed times 5. All right then. So how can we get the cube root? So you see that to get the cube root of this, we can get the cube root of 4 cubed and the cube root of 5 alone. So when we do that, the cube root of 4 cubed actually will be 4. Okay. So then 5, we cannot get the cube root of 5. So we leave it as cube root 5. So we say that we are having cube root 5. So we say that this is our cube root. So we say that therefore the cube root of 320 is 4 cube root of 5. So that's how we can write the cube root of 320 if we use factorization. But of course, we have other methods. You can use your calculator, and you can also use the cube root table. And we are going to also look at those methods, and we see what will be the difference. How will the square root and cube root of factorization look like? And how about that one of calculator and the square root or cube root table? So we are going to look at all of those in our next lesson. For now, we are going to stop here, but then make sure that you copy these notes to your yellow notebooks. And then when you finish that, you will go to look at page 68 to 69. Then you will do that work about square roots. Then when you finish that, you look at page 70, page 70 to 71. Then you also do work about finding the cube roots. For now, let us stop here and we meet again next time. Goodbye.